You're about to watch another exciting episode of the Dungeon Run, but did you know that you can actually be part of the adventure? Tune in live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can make your voice heard and help determine the fate of our adventurers. Hope to see you there.
Hi, friends. We're back. It's Wednesday night, and Forbidden has returned. We took a couple weeks off. We needed it after the emotional roller coaster of last episode, but we are so happy to be back here together with you all. You will notice we're short our amazing Lexi tonight. She's unfortunately stuck in an airport somewhere dealing with travel delays, which I'm sure we can all relate to in the year 2025. Yeah. Okay, just be safe. We miss you, Lexi. We know you'll be here with us very soon, either tonight or next week. I'll get you, my pretty.
Love you.
But we love you. We love you so much, and we'll miss Eden definitely. What? That was fine. But here at the top of the show, we've got some fun announcements. Ron, what are we going to announce today?
Me? Are you talking about me?
I am talking about you.
We have. Wait. Oh, there it is. Sorry.
There it is.
Read
Hell
it.
yeah.
WonderCon.
That's right, WonderCon.
Friday, March 28th at 3 p.m. We are coming to Anaheim to do a live show at WonderCon.
Yeah.
We've got some special guests, and I'm just going to give you the title and let you ruminate over it. Mr. Fated, Fortuitous Fet. All right, that's it.
Fet,
that's what it is.
Which
Fate, also pronounced Fate.
Right.
Fete, French for a party.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you,
It's nice
Rachel.
having classy people around.
Yeah.
That is so
The little
funny.
schmucks like this one and that one. Rachel classes us
I
up.
was to say, we missed
Hysterical.
Josephine. We did a rewatch last week of one of the episodes where Josephine explained about chaise longue to
longue.
people, and I was like, yep, I remember that. No, but yeah, we are so excited to do more live shows. We had such a great
Indeed.
time with San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I mean, Ron, I don't even think you said it. I mean, you can tell because he's announcing the show. Ron will be DMing this live
will.
show. It's gonna
be live. It's gonna be interactive. So there should be interactive elements to the audience, and there may even be a total party kill. Just saying, there might be a TPK. I don't even know.
What?
There could
Spoiler
be.
alert.
There could be. There might be. There could be. Just saying. You never know when it comes to a con. You know, you got to go big or go home. So,
Secret.
you know,
WonderCon.
WonderCon.
Come to Anaheim, March 28th. See us at WonderCon. Full cast will be announced real soon,
Yes.
but Ron is running the game. It's going to be so much
Yeah,
fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by Eldritch Foundry, the most awesome minis created and designed by you and printed either at your home or shipped directly to you with a ridiculous number of customizations and designs. You can design and get your minis printed for you or print them yourself by going to eldritch-foundry.com and use our discount code The Dungeon Run, all one word, capital TDR, at checkout to get 20% off. I don't write it, I just read it.
You're so good at it.
Dice is the place to go for gorgeous dice and accessories. They also pride themselves on amazing customer service. Any dice you need, any questions you have, they're there to help. Check it out at dieharddice.com, and don't forget to use our coupon code DungeonRun, all one word, capital D, capital R, at checkout for a discount on us. Our show is made possible by Patreon. Go to patreon.com/thedungeonrun for all the incredible bonus content. For just $5 a month, you can get access to cool behind-the-scenes content and our after-show short rest, exclusive only to you patrons. New patron shout-out. Welcome, Jordan Dyer. Dyer?
Yeah, sure.
Dyer!
Yeah, DR.
Jordan Dyer!
That's how you
And what would Scooby do?
Woo!
I kind of like what would Scooby do. That's amazing. Good one. You know what Scooby-Doo would do, and
Scooby-
that's what they do.
Scooby
Early
would-
access to
Scooby
certain
would
content.
park like Maple.
Early access to certain content, free interactivity, a spot in our long-running D&D campaign run by none other than he himself, Morgan Peter Brown. It could all be yours if you become a patron. There's so much more fun to be had. Get over to patreon.com/thedungeonrun. Morgan, back to you.
we'll be getting back to that to our Patreon D&D campaign. I've been very slammed with things and running this campaign, but other things. But so I know I've got a lot of people anxiously waiting to see what's next. I certainly can't wait either. So be on the lookout, my friends, for more scheduling on that very shortly. I can't wait, and I miss you all. Interactivity. As you might know, or if you're new here, we are an interactive show where you have the chance to affect our story in unique and surprising ways. Like, for instance, last week when Angel Devilson dropped how many luck points to Rachel?
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
And they got, well, no, Rachel didn't spend them, but I did have to overflow it to some of the other players. Ron was spending luck like there was going out of style last month.
I did spend a bunch on one roll to get a really good success. I just can't remember which roll it was. But I know it was worth it.
That sounds right. But yes, so use our custom Twitch extension or the link you can find in the About section of our Twitch page, or you can just go to streamelements.com/thedungeonrun/tip. Now, there's 2 ways to help our players in Forbidden. You can choose to give bonus or penalty dice for any player or the keeper. It works like advantage and disadvantage in D&D. That's basically giving them a chance to re-roll. If you give the bonus die, you get to re-roll the 10 value of your D100 and take the lower. Or if it's a penalty, you have to re-roll it and take the higher, or the worse, depending on whatever it is. But also, as I mentioned earlier, you can gift any player the power of luck. We are giving you the option of adding 10 luck points to any player's stash that they can use to turn a failure into a success. As we've already seen, this can sway the game in massive ways. And we love our watchers from the time stream being part of the story. And as a reminder, if you are a patron at certain higher levels, you do get free interactivity, as I mentioned. Please message us on Patreon and know us how you would like to cash in your monthly free interactivity, who you would like it to go to, and things of that nature. You can also message me on the Discord, but Patreon is just the easiest messaging system to just send it, and I won't miss it. Let's see. Surena, what are you knitting over there?
I'm being perceived. I'm making a sweater.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd say, I know, it's adorable. And I was like, what else we got? Nothing.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
I just needed to know.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be back so that I can terrify you all. Sean! Let's jump into the Forbidden. When last we met, things seemed quite dire for our investigators as they finally discovered the secret behind the strange happenings and disappearances at Thistledown Golf Club. An experimental machine, the invention of 2 wayward, disgraced scientists, that somehow allowed for the consciousness to leave the body and travel to the ether, a mysterious liminal realm that connected our dimension to a great beyond, an eternal, seemingly unending darkness, stretching into infinity, like an ocean waiting to be explored. But this machine, this wondrous and perhaps terrible invention, had been damaged and was running out of control, causing the ether's hold on the surrounding area to expand and solidify in unexpected and often dangerous ways. This was discovered the hard way by Charlotte, as a well-meaning dash to offer medical assistance led to her being pulled into this realm against her will, her mind feeling like a windshield with cracks ever deepening through it, as her consciousness was yanked out of her body and into the ether. There she met the nearly maniacal Dr. Jerome Lackey, Lorelei's blonde man she had briefly glimpsed to her during her very brief sojourn to the Dark Realm the previous day. Lackey had been exploring the ether for months with his partner, Dr. Donald Gilmore, in secret from their hidden laboratory beneath the abandoned Thistledown. But when Arthur Macmillan purchased the property and began his renovation there, the determined scientists refused to abandon their discovery and continued their voyages into the dark. It was during one of these voyages that Macmillan, enraged at the delays in his construction and confounded by the strange occurrences the experiments were having on the club itself, discovered the laboratory and the two comatose forms of Lackey and Gilmore. But when Macmillan tried in vain to deactivate the machine, he only succeeded in damaging it, and in the ensuing chaos, he too was pulled into the gaping maw of the ethereal. Sensing that time was running out, both for their friend and for the prone forms of Macmillan and the two scientists, the remaining investigators, Diarmuid, Lorelei, and Eden, quickly set to finding some way to deactivate the machine without getting pulled into the ether themselves. With the help of Charlotte herself, using her will to reach through the boundaries of reality and scratch a short message on a chalkboard, Lorelei stared in horror as the words came through. Shut power off. In a panic, Eden almost made the mortal decision to recklessly smash the power box, but an emotional Diarmuid pleaded with her to keep their wits about them, calling on his own experience in wartime to convey the importance of keeping a strong mind if you had any hope of saving your friends or yourself. With the time of their rescue seemingly drawing near, Charlotte glimpsed in the distant reaches of the ether several horrifying things. The first of which being another of those monstrous beings with hideously long appendages and eyeless antennaed faces appearing from deep within the abyssal expanse and moving towards their location, perhaps intent on halting her friend's attempts at deactivating the machine. But even more terrifying was the sinking realization that came to Charlotte when looking up towards the sky in this strange realm, that those were not stars flickering down at her. No. Those strange, blinking celestial lights in the distant dark were eyes, ever present, ever knowing, ever watching. But rescued they were, as Diarmuid successfully decoupled the machine's power source from the building's cable box, and Charlotte and Dr. Lackey were pulled gratefully but violently back into their bodies. Macmillan as well, who'd been haunting his nearby family home, pleading for help to his wife or whomever could listen. But he too was returned to his corporeal self, a bit the worse for wear and dumbfounded how he might explain this awful occurrence to his family and comrades. Dr. Gilmore, however, who had ventured further into the ether than anyone else, who hadn't been seen by Lackey in weeks as he pushed deeper and deeper into the dark, his consciousness did not return. His body remained breathing, as if in a coma. But try as anyone might, he would not awaken. Nevertheless, the quartet of investigators returned, the traumatized but grateful Macmillan to his nearby home, and to the arms of his overjoyed wife. And that's where we find ourselves, at this moment, on a cold Christmas afternoon. The tearful, confused, and rapturous sight of a reunion perhaps never expected to happen. The four of you are able to take pride in this accomplishment, witnessing that loving embrace of a husband and wife. You made that happen. But still, there's that current of darkness you can feel underneath it all, and the sinking knowledge that you'll never be able to unlearn what you have learned. Diarmuid, Lorelei, Charlotte. You watch as Crystal and Keating are hurriedly ushering Arthur inside the house, fussing over him relentlessly in his weakened state. There's a huge ruckus from inside the house for a few moments that leaves the four of you feeling a little on the outside as you sort of let them have their time. But the four of you, Lorelei and Charlotte, I believe you were holding hands in this cold afternoon. What do you do?
I think Lorelei is just watching this husband and wife that got to reunite and probably feeling jealous and trying not to show it.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of stone-faced, kind of present but not here.
Right.
Charlotte is very tired. But there's people in the car that need to be brought in as well. Has that already happened?
No. Laid across the back seat of Macmillan's car that Diarmuid drove here is the body of Dr. Donald Gilmore. And he is, by all accounts, alive, but comatose. And sitting in the passenger seat of Eden's car is Dr. Lackey.
Yes.
Who is currently still probably shifts between watching this reunion with a forlorn, shamed expression and trying not to make eye contact.
Morgan, remind me, what is the butler's name again?
Keating.
Keating, yes. Keating, is there Keating here?
Yes, most apologies, madam. And he will come out, and you've seen like the two young maids who I believe were seen earlier this morning arranging one of the other rooms. You see Mrs. Grant, the cook, like basically, like there's joy but also chaos going on behind you.
Yes.
And Keating, yes, yes, Dr. Mantis.
I'm so delighted that we found Arthur, but we also found two others with him, and they are not doing very well. Do you have a room we may be able to put them in? This one is unconscious.
Yes, of course. Yes, certainly. Others. Well, here, perhaps you can bring them into the parlor for now, and we can have something arranged. Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to have to go to find a telegram or telegraph.
There is one in Dundee. Absolutely, there's the Dundee Telegraph Service. Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. But please come in and enjoy the warmth of the parlor while the Macmillans gather themselves. Mrs. Grant sounds as if she's preparing a quick meal.
So I think that Charlotte in this moment is going to do everything she can to make sure her patients, Jerome and Dennis, are secure and taken care of. She's not going to wait until they're taken by the rest of the team. She's going to, if they're like, she's not a strong woman by any means, but I'm helping as much as I can in situating them into a room. If there's no more rooms available, if there's no rooms available, Keaton, you could just put them in mine. I don't know what the space situation is. I want to make sure that they're given, they're hydrated, and that they are stable. One is awake, one is not. So
yes, of course.
Morgan, real quick, just as
yeah.
I will, Diarmuid will help pull Dr. Gilmore from the car.
Yes.
And as he does so, he's going to quickly rifle through his pockets.
Sure. You find, I mean, I won't even make you roll a spot hidden for this one. You find nothing of real consequence. You find some change. You find, I mean, they were living down there in that space, so it was, you probably find a bit of identification. Okay. And you find, as hinted at, in a wallet along with some money, you also find within this wallet an old university identification ticket, right? Or like a card, an identification card from the University of Edinburgh. identifying him as Dr. Donald Gilmore. But as you carry him, and Charlotte, I'm picturing you perhaps leading them up the stairs straight to, as there's, everyone has quite a lot going on. Diarmuid, you can carry the body of Dr. Gilmore, which is quite emaciated, alive but emaciated, into Charlotte's room. Lorelei, as you stand there, I assume you have come inside as well?
Yeah, I think she's definitely taking her time when she gets there.
What are we allowing Dr. Lackey to just still sit in the car, or
I'm trying to get everyone out. Like,
okay, you are also. So I mean, if Charlotte, if Diarmuid has Dr. Gilmore, Charlotte, Dr. Lackey would follow you. He yes. feels as comfortable around you as he does around anyone.
Sure. You know what? That's not a great that's a neutral assessment, and I'm gonna take it.
Right. You definitely are catching some odd looks, perhaps some discomfort.
So
from from the staff or from the others, as Macmillan hasn't told anyone hasn't told everything yet, but there is a concern as to who these people are. But continue, please.
Yes. Charlotte is knowing that the Arthur Macmillan is reuniting with his wife. That is why I'm ushering these two gentlemen inside the house.
Okay. And I'll certainly say that Eden is helping you with this as well, and you, Diarmuid, as well. And I think Dr. Lackey is more than content to sit quietly in your room with his partner. And because he's even still quite beside himself of just, come on, Donald. Just waiting for him to wake up. But it has now been at least an hour, perhaps longer, since you and Lackey and Macmillan were all returned from the ether. But as of now, no sign of Gilmore returning.
I want it to be really clear that as I'm going up with putting them into my room, I am saying this is a medical emergency. These men need help. They're malnourished. I'm trying to make a scene because, and I'm happy to roll a persuasion, because I was clocking Arthur Macmillan's uncomfortability with these two, and I want it to be clear to the rest of the staff that should he kick these men out, he is doing so knowing that these are victims.
Certainly. I think Keating doesn't need much persuading at this moment, at least in certain, to bring water and yes. Bread and snacks or bread and anything of that nature that they can bring up to them. More than happy to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Even Keating. In the confusion. Yes, of course, madam, of course. But Lorelei, as you sort of stand in the foyer, as all of this hustle and bustle happening around you, this feeling of, as you said, jealousy, this feeling of pangs of gratitude, of gladness, but also, feeling quite like the bridesmaid, not the bride, so to speak.
Yeah, a little bit.
You do see Spot coming down the stairs shortly after Diarmuid, Eden, and Charlotte had carried and escorted the two doctors upstairs. You see someone you haven't seen before, at least not in person. A well-dressed man in his early 30s with slick dark hair. He's dressed in traveling clothes. But there's something about him. He looks like he spends the majority of his time wearing a suit. You recognize him fairly quickly, Lorelei, from the photos you've seen, as well as a familiar resemblance. It's Arthur's oldest son, Gordon.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And he'll catch sight of you. Well done. Well done. I understand you were a member of the team.
Didn't do very much. I was just there.
I have to admit, when Kirschbaum told me about the group of you, I had my doubts.
So did we. Don't worry. How
So
are you feeling now?
Overjoyed, I guess.
I
Confused.
guess.
But we've contacted the local authorities. Are those them?
The doctors? Yes.
The perpetrators?
No.
The
I wouldn't
kidnapper?
say perpetrator. No, he was not kidnapped. It's difficult to explain, but they were trapped together. And Arthur, I don't want to say fell for the same trap, but kind of did.
This one I'm going to need your roll persuasion on.
Okay. I can do that. It's a 65 over 50.
Okay. Father said... yes.
Can I spend 6 points just to make it not a complete failure?
65 over 50 would only bring it down to 59, correct?
Oh god, yeah, I would.
You need to spend 15 points if you want.
Yeah, okay. I'll hold on to that then. That's
Okay. You say this and he kind of... well, from what Father had said... Interesting.
What did Arthur say?
He said something about this invention of theirs, this machine, running out of control, putting everyone in danger, and it trapping him there as well as themselves. I'll be honest, it does not make quite a lot of sense, but Father seems quite convinced.
Well,
But
I understand why he would be, but they didn't. Again, hard to explain because I don't quite understand the full scope of it myself. I'm not a scientist. But they were not out to hurt people. I can tell you that much. They did not kidnap him. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time and was trapped.
Terrifying.
Truly.
Father, he seems weak, like he's barely eaten anything in days.
Well, he has been gone for months.
Well, you found him. What is he? And he seems to... Is he going to be all right?
I think so. I hope so. Physically, I believe so. Mentally is another matter. I think he will need you and Crystal and help going through what he has been through. I imagine, I know, is not something easily gotten over.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to do in times like this.
You have other brothers, don't you?
I do, yes. I'm the oldest of three.
Where are the other two?
Back in New York, seeing to business, seeing to the company.
Have they been told?
No. No. Sorry, it's all happening
No.
quite so fast.
You don't need to apologize to me.
I think about this time is when Diarmuid's going to be coming
Certainly.
down the stairs,
Yeah.
and seeming a little bit like I need to find a telegraph fairly quickly.
You do catch this conversation happening between Lorelei and this man that, as I said, you might recognize from photographs, but you have not met before.
As Diarmuid comes down the stairs, he sort of closes his jacket a bit and straightens his hat and hello, I've seen you before, but I don't think we've met.
No. Well, you must be the man from SDI, correct?
And especially to you, Lorelei, that sort of bristles, visibly bristles, Diarmuid. Yes.
Well, thank you. And he will reach out and he will grab your hand and give it a hearty shake. I will be passing along my shiningest report to your superiors, I assure you, for whatever that's worth.
That's well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Speaking of which, I must get to a telegraph immediately. Lorelei, would you care to join me?
Oh, sure.
We shall return, good sir.
Yes. I'll let them know.
Would you like me to let your brothers know? Send them a telegraph as well?
No, I will put in a call. I appreciate it.
Probably best to hear it from you.
Probably. Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you.
And Diarmuid will yell up the stairs to my brain.
Charlotte.
Thank you to Charlotte.
Maple says, how dare you forget
has so much to say.
It's funny because that's what was going on in my head when I was trying to think of her name. Charlotte, we'll be back. Do you need me to send a message to anyone for you?
No, thank you.
Right.
I'm good, thanks.
Charlotte,
Yes? Do you want me to come down? I could just come down.
yeah, that might be good, yeah.
1 second.
Thank you.
You leave Eden in the room with the doctors easily
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yep.
And
I'm
I'll-
on
I'll-
the banister of the stairs looking
Yeah,
down.
I'll sort of climb a little bit up this banister and get in closer,
Oh,
and try to make
yes.
it very clear that I'm trying to keep at least a little bit of what I'm about to say a little bit quiet.
You're going to shout this. Great.
Well,
I have a secret for you.
Now I don't have to invent a metaphor, and I can just tell you directly what I was going to say.
Yes.
We might want to keep what happened explicitly a bit confusing to rest of those who are not involved.
I completely agree.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that they were trapped behind a door with a spring mechanism, and they were stuck there. That is true. Because
yes.
we can look at that.
Also, some sort of machine is okay, but it just caused them to go unconscious, and they were dreaming.
Like a gas leak.
Correct.
Interesting.
Good. Yeah.
I understand.
Got it. And he turns, but then stops and turns back. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Are you ready, Lorelei?
Yes, of course.
We should go.
Whose car are we taking?
You still have the keys to Macmillan's car, and I don't think.
Oh, I know which one I'm taking.
Oh, okay.
They're both quite nice, though Macmillan's car is a little the worse for wear because it's been sitting out there for weeks. But yes.
Okay. I'll just follow him to a car.
And Charlotte, you also have a moment as you pass by this man with this younger man with the slick back hair, dressed in traveling, who you at this point would be able to discern that is Macmillan's oldest son, Gordon.
Hi.
Thank you
Oh.
once for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Your father,
Yes.
Gordon, right?
Yes, I'm Gordon. Yes.
I'm Charlotte. I'm a doctor.
Oh, amazing, wonderful.
Yes, so I'll be tending to those men in there. But one thing about your father, he might be confused about what has happened. It is very normal given the amount of trauma he's experienced, being trapped and without food and water for, a long time. There might be things that he says that might make sense. They might not. But I just want you to be aware that that he might not be in his right mind right now.
I mean, I'll be the first to say that what he's saying doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but
What is he telling you, Gordon?
Make a persuade roll.
Okay.
There's a couple different versions, like, it's not all persuade. Like there is something called fast talk, but that's not quite this situation. And also, what are the other ones? But I think persuasion makes the most sense.
Persuade is good. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 5 luck points.
Okay.
Just to get a regular success. I rolled a 65 over 60.
Got it. Okay, nice. With a regular success.
Yeah.
He's saying his mind was outside his body.
Yeah.
He sounded like, he and my stepmother, Crystal, they seem to share the same memories of things happening while he was gone, as if he was speaking to her somehow, and she seems to agree.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he looks like he's been chained up in a basement somewhere.
I found them when I first opened the door. And I don't know if it was gas or whatever it was in the room. I also passed out, and there are clinical things, studies or anecdotes about people in comas being able to communicate through the unconscious. I mean, that could be something that Arthur experienced, or it could be that they have a connection that that is unbreakable, and that they are able to communicate with each other. I don't. I'm not a romantic. I don't know, but I just.
I'm glad you're here. This is all a bit quite beyond me. So.
Well, if you need anyone to talk to about this, my door is open.
Thank you. And you get the sense that he is trying to listen, and he's not dismissive, but he's taking a lot in.
Yes.
and just trying to keep it all straight. I think if you'll be around, give us the night, and I think they'll want some time. But if we need anything, I will certainly come looking for you. I think Father will want his privacy for a while.
That makes absolute sense. Let him know that I'm also here should he want to talk.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you go back into the room where the 2 doctors and Eden are sitting.
Yep.
Lackey by this point is he kind of bared his soul in the car. He doesn't have much else to say at this point. He's just sort of looking around at this house and looking at his friend. But he's happily drinking all of the water that he can, and
Right.
you'll see he and Eden doing their best to feed some water down Dr. Gilmore's throat. But yeah, they're struggling a bit.
As I'm helping with giving Donald water. I am positioning his head in a way that, without giving him an IV fluid, right? Like we can't do that.
Right.
But I'm positioning his head in a way that he's not going to choke. And I say to Jerome, actually, I like to shut the door. Can I just shut the door to make sure the door's shut?
Yeah, of course. There's still so many distractions and people coming here and there. Yes, yeah, that doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
Fantastic. I look at. Go ahead.
You wouldn't have an IV in your kit?
I think I would, but I don't know if it's the 1920s, so I don't really know.
IVs are like 1800s.
That's true. IVs exist. Roll me a luck roll.
They
Okay.
get much more popular after 1900. World War One and Two.
I fully don't have an IV. In fact, I have what's the opposite of an IV? A bunch of knives. I just have a bunch of knives.
All I've got are
Sharpened
scalpels.
straws. I just
Scalpels.
got
I rolled
sharpened bamboo.
100.
Oh no, a full fumble.
Yeah, thank goodness it's not like on something that was dire. It's just looking for an IV.
Fumble on a
I
luck
have an
roll.
IV. It's in my arm.
It's in my arm. Oh no! Pass
You
out.
literally cut your finger as you're looking for it.
Oh my god!
It's not bad. No, 0 points of damage, but that's for a fumble. Yeah, no, you don't have that, but you are working out, like trying to perhaps find ways to give him some fluids and any kind of nutrition that you can.
Awesome. I'd like to just say, as I'm doing this,
Yeah, and you close the door. He Lackey, I'm sure, clocks that very, that you're very deliberately giving yourselves some privacy.
Jerome.
Hey.
I know that you've been through a lot right now, and you are going to need some time to recover. But in your current state, I must let you know that there's going to be a lot of questions going to be thrown at you shortly. Questions about your whereabouts, your relationship with Arthur Macmillan, what you were doing and why you were doing it. And so we need to come up with a story that is consistent. Does that make sense? Huh?
I love you, Surena. It's all good. He furrows his brow and then sort of looks in either direction, looking at you, looking at Eden, looking at his friend. Where do I start?
Well, I would like to understand your relationship with Arthur before he came into that room with you. He seems to think that you are some sort of villain. You wouldn't be a villain, would you? Be.
No, of course not. I think the truth is I didn't know him.
Mm.
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We'd only seen him when he came. We'd been working there at the golf club in secret. And I don't know the man. So I suppose, as far as trespassing's concerned, I don't have much of a defense. But any suggestions you might have or anything further, I'm happy to listen.
Well, he seemed to know that you are working on a machine. I think that that's not something strangers would know about each other, right?
I think he I mean, that seems to be obvious, doesn't it? He found us, as I understand. He found us, found our bodies in our traveling state.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to turn it off and broke the damn thing.
Is there anything at all that you're not telling me? Because if there is, Jerome.
We were there illegally. We were... Of course we were. Of course we were hiding from him and his men.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it was... It was worth it. It was worth it for the risk. Was worth the discovery. I don't know this man. He's got a nice house. But, we were fools to underestimate him. maybe we deserve it.
Did you interact with him in the ether? I mean, I was there and you were there. So did you get to know each other in that space?
We had a bit of an argument when he first arrived and first got a true sense of what was happening when he saw the two of us. He was enraged. Said, you're trespassing, said that he, and now seemed wanted to know what the hell was going on, which, of course, that seems reasonable, I suppose. But, I didn't mean to. We didn't mean to.
I know. You were explorers.
Reckless.
I think that I've told Diarmuid that what you've experienced together is a result of the machine, yes, but also could be a gas leak or something that resulted in unconsciousness. Okay? I don't believe that we should share widely your work. Now, as I know many, many people of science, I myself am one with a large ego to boost. I love my work, and I know that you do too, but how can I trust you to be discreet about your experience, or should we come up with another plan? Because, Jerome, I don't know if I should be covering for you, or if Arthur's right, or anything at all right now. My gut says to trust you because I saw you as a victim, just as somebody who was trapped. But boy, oh boy, do I not know much before that.
And he just takes a long time to see, as you plead with him in this way, to give you some way to help him. But he can't seem to what you've seen is the truth.
Lorelei, are you okay?
What a question.
Well, I hope you don't mind. I'm a man of detail, and I couldn't help but notice you were wearing your emotions on your face when we arrived.
As someone who has lost someone, Diarmuid, do you not feel just a little jealous?
Of?
A happy couple, reunited.
I see. I thought that might be it, but I wasn't sure.
I know it's petty, and I'll get over it, and I won't show them, but the whole reason I am here, besides Bennett asking me and, the thrill of adventure, I was hoping that this might get me closer to Waleed. Wherever he is, I don't know. I also don't know for sure that he's dead. He's just missing. would love to believe that he is out there somewhere and some beautiful reunion is headed my way, but I don't know that.
I think in some ways I have it better than you.
The
In
finality.
other ways, worse.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's easier knowing. But now, with what we've... And you notice that he is driving back towards the golf club. There's... So you said you can talk to the dead. Is that real?
Accidentally, yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I say that because I have used a Ouija board, and I have gotten a response from what I had been talking to, which I had asked for Waleed. And it spoke to me, and then it broke in half, shattered, without a touch. And she pulls the planchette that's on a chain around her neck out, and she just kind of puts it on top of her clothes, and she says, "That's what this is from. It's why I carry it. It's the last communication I had with Waleed. And he was not able to tell me where he was."
Diarmuid, you see this item from around her neck that you've seen her hold several times, and you've seen her clutch in moments of emotion or moments of unsureness. And it's something that, out of the context of what it is, you probably wouldn't even spot it, or it just seemed like an odd thing. But hearing this, yeah, it is a planchette of a Ouija board. Two of you are sitting in the car. It's starting to get dark. It's not a long drive, but you're driving down this wooded driveway. The trees, most of them without many leaves in this winter day.
Diarmuid, do you
Yes.
remember on the journey here from New York, there was that night that you caught me on the balcony and I asked you if you could see it out there in the distance, and you saw nothing. What I was asking if you could see was a ship that I saw. And I was hoping it was a message from my husband because he was lost on a ship.
I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud, but have you considered that perhaps you are possessed?
Possessed? God. Well, it could not pick a worse target. What could I possibly be possessed by?
Oh, I don't know. I know a little bit about things here and there, but what you're describing to me sounds a bit more malicious than it does one of love.
Malicious?
Well, violence, right? You broke the placard.
It broke the board, but it did not hurt me.
You are the expert. I'm new to this. I'm just taking what I've known from the various religions that have been shoved down my throat. And, if the Catholics have anything right, ghosts are more often likely demons than they are anything else.
There are things beyond your heaven and earth, Horatio.
Oh, I think we've run into one. You were drugged through the ether.
Oh, I know. And what I'm saying is, so much of what we think we know so concretely has been turned on its head. So, yes, while a ghost would, in very classical senses, seem like a haunting, I do not believe all spirits would be negative.
Oh, I agree with you.
I do not feel possessed. Granted, I do not know. I may still turn into some zombie because of this bite. or scratch or whatever it is. I don't know. And not knowing is why I'm so reckless.
In that moment, without even really thinking about it, but as your mind, you find yourself touching that claw mark on your shoulder where you were so forcefully grabbed and seemingly thrown through space. And you feel kind of the wound there, and it does itch for just a moment. And you have just a moment of concern. But wounds that are healing itch a little bit too.
And as you say, I'm a little bit reckless. I think at about this time is when we pull up to the gate of the golf club. Or first arrived.
Yeah.
And Diarmuid puts it in park, and he says, you can join me or you can stay in here.
Oh, well, of course I'm not staying, but why are we here? Tell me that first.
Oh, I'm going to blow up that machine. And he gets out of the car.
I would not, Diarmuid.
Yeah, I mean, he gets out of the car, closes the door, and begins to walk.
She starts chasing after him. Diarmuid, do you remember the conversation that you were having with Eden? The very conversation we had just earlier where you were saying not
everyone
to destroy
is now
this machine.
Safe. Everyone's away.
Yes, but that
gone.
does not mean that destroying the machine will keep them safe. You could be destroying the machine and opening a rift into that world. Do you really want to risk that? That is not reckless, that is stupid.
What I want to do is make sure that the rich don't have access to this thing.
They won't. But let's not get carried away.
Are you daft at me? You're going to stand here and look at me and tell me that Arthur Macmillan isn't going to use this thing to do whatever he can to make the most amount of money he possibly can, and that includes killing people.
And you are going to sit here and tell me that destroying it is the best option and will have no repercussions whatsoever.
I didn't say necessarily I would destroy.
Really? Because you got out of the car,
I'm going to blow it up. We still have the thing.
And if you blow it up, do you know what happens after? Can you guarantee that you are not making things worse by doing this? This is a rash decision.
Well, if it's turned off and I destroy it, I think it's fine.
You don't know that. Do you know how it works? Do you know how to get to this world?
I have a pretty good idea of how it works. I read the book. I read that thing. Oh,
fantastic. You read a book.
Well, the man who made the thing.
Then tell me what this is. If you read a book, tell me. What is this location?
He calls it the ether.
Fantastic. And if you take a doorway to the ether and you destroy the door that is closed, what happens?
Well, if
Diarmuid,
you destroy a doorway, it can't open anymore.
If you destroy the door.
You're assuming it's got to be powered on. We know that. If it's not powered on, it's fine.
And you are assuming that it has to be powered on. Do you remember those invisible walls that we've been walking into, that our doctor walked into? Do you know what that is? Because I don't, and I don't want to mess with it right now. If you do this, it might hurt other people. I know. Believe me, I would love to do something that feels more concrete. I have never felt as worthless in my life as I do right now. But
you're not worthless. You just
I am, but doing this does not mean anything good will come of it. You do not know. And in situations like this, Diarmuid, with
Lorelei! Lorelei, you've already convinced me!
Speak!
You've already convinced me. I understand you now.
Do you?
Yes. I'm thinking militarily. You don't let your enemy get the bigger weapon. And the best thing to do with the bigger weapon is to blow it up before they get the hands on it. But I don't know the realms like you. That's why I brought you.
Either. I'm a sham. I'm a charlatan. So much of what I do is fake. When I talked to Waleed, it was an accident. I was wasted out of my mind and depressed and desperate to see my husband. It was a mistake. He reached out to me. I have no real power. I'm nothing. I am a wealthy woman with a fun hobby.
What if it happened and he reached out to you? You don't think you can learn it?
I would love to, because then that means that I could talk to him. But I don't know how. I don't know anything about where he is. I don't even know if he's alive, Diarmuid. Maybe I was just drunk and imagining it. I don't know. And the not knowing scares me. And that's why I don't want you to destroy this machine. I don't want you to get hurt, and I don't want it to hurt other people. We don't know. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Please do not. You're absolutely right to have the energy and the feelings that you're having right now. It's totally understandable when you explain it the way you do. So here's the thing. We've got very little time, and we've got to do something, because this thing is standing here for anyone to just lollygag around and start messing with.
Oh, you are correct.
So
how much do you know about booby traps? You're a military man, correct?
I mean, I know it's sort of what I meant by I'm going to blow it up.
Well, don't blow it up, but booby trap it.
Well, what would you like the booby trap to do other than blow up?
Stop whoever is coming to try and get the machine, like a bear trap. Maybe not as lethal as a bear trap, but something to hinder people. Maybe a way that we can hide it.
I respect you, and I just want you to hear this from me. You don't have any idea how war works, do you?
No.
Do you understand that if that thing got into the hands of, say, the Germans?
Yes, Diarmuid, I understand it could be disastrous, but I am saying if you destroy it, you don't know what will happen.
I understand that. It's not the argument I'm making. What I'm saying is, if there's someone who's going to roll up on it, there's no less lethal thing we should be doing. If I'm setting a booby trap, they're gonna die.
Fine.
Okay. All right. And he, if the gate's locked, he'll pick it.
You've got I believe you still have the keys from Cameron Nairn.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we broke the door, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but we'll see what we can find when we're down there. I'll go around to the back to the basement.
I know how to use a screwdriver. That's all we need, right?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, while we're here, I would
Dynamite would help.
I would like to check something out while we're here. When I was coming back down from the room where this creature threw me, which also I don't know why I guess I'm a little hurt that it just did not want me and it threw me out, and I don't know why this thing. Whatever. Anyways,
just put it out there. Maybe it's just an animal.
Truly,
you're assigning things to intelligence that may not have any at all.
You are very correct. How very level-headed of you. Point being, when I was thrown through the house, I saw many things, and I would like to check and see if these things are still the way they are, or if it was the machine being on that made them so. When I was walking down the stairs, I would look through the windows and I would see different times of day or different months outside, even though the outside itself was just the front yard of the club. And I saw this floating ball of detritus in the ballroom, and I would love to check up on that and see if it's still floating or if there's a mess now.
Fine by me. I was going to go up to the office.
Okay. I would also like to do that. I would love to snoop around.
I'm going to let you know. Do you know, are you familiar with the SDI?
No, not really. And I was actually going to ask you about that because you seem like a man of many secrets. You do not have to divulge in me, but I am a nosy woman, and I would love to know.
Let's say that there are people who want certain things kept certain ways, and they'll pay individuals who are smart and sharp to make sure that those things are certain ways.
Okay. Could you be perhaps a little more obtuse?
I could.
That's
suppose.
Hypothetical. I know that you have the capability to do that. What kind of things are these? Are they perhaps supernatural things?
This is the first one I've run into for work anyway. But yeah, I'm assuming this is also one of the things that I've probably got to keep the certain way they'd like to keep it. Yeah.
For work? Why that specificity? Have you run into supernatural things outside of work? Well, I told you mine. You tell me
That's
yours.
true. And you can see his hand sort of instinctually go to his pocket inside of his vest, just a little bit inside where his pocket watch seems to be. And he says, I was in the war. I think you told you. As I was in the gas, doing what I'd been trained to do, I was married, and I had a child. Her name was Maria. She had chestnut hair. I can feel it now. Brushing against my face. I was in the trenches. It's my job to decipher German communique. And I was good at it. Numbers and code words and secrets always came easy for me. There was an order, a framework that I could wrap the skin of myself around and understand. It made the unknown easier to know, or at least be more comfortable in the not knowing. I was, there was gas called and I put through on my mask and I grabbed my grease gun and I ran it to the whistles. I climbed the trench and went out and started spraying. And then it all got quiet. Gas everywhere, the light was low. It was just as the sun was setting. Suddenly I climbed over another hill and there she was. A woman with chestnut hair and a white blouse with her back to me. I thought it strange. Civilians had been gone from this region for weeks now. She turned ever so slightly and she heard something off to her right. And my heart stopped. My Maria was right there on the battlefield with me without the gas mask. Impossible. And as she turned, that's when I saw him. My son. There, standing with her. Something was right, and suddenly I got hit hard in the right. I'd been hit by someone who was running, and as I tumbled through the mud and I picked myself up, they were gone. But the feeling I had wasn't. Lorelei, I've never said this out loud. I abandoned my post. I dropped everything and I ran. As quickly as I could to see back home something was wrong. I couldn't deal with it. It was hard, but I got home. And when I got there, they were gone. Both. The life choked out of them by that disease, Maria's face bloated and dark. Just meat now. And when I asked them what had happened, and they told me, he gets really close to you. To the day, to the hour, to the minute, to the fucking second. They were saying goodbye to me. So damn foolish. I only wanted to do what was right and stop the world from being blown up. They were taken from me. The flu. I saw her in that room. Plain as day again, as if she had been right there on the battlefield, not 10 feet from me, telling me in that moment, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in religion. I think when you're gone, you're gone. It's just darkness. And there's nothing wrong with that, if you ask me. That means that living is the point. That means what we do now matters more than anything else. But then I see her and she's still there. I'm like you. Am I just high on grief? Am I just hallucinating the things that I want to be true? Because otherwise, it's hard to continue. I don't know.
Lorelei reaches out a hand and gently puts it on your shoulder. I fear we are much more similar than we realize. Is this why you were asking me if I could speak with the dead?
Yeah, it's a fantasy, but yeah.
Fantasies are really what make this worth it, in my humble opinion. Fantasies are what keeps me going, at least. It's where hope springs from. I would be more than happy and honored to try and contact them if you would like.
His hand has been in his jacket the whole time, and he pulls out what looks like a small wooden carving of a bear. And he flips it over, and on the other side is what you could tell is a Gaelic knot. And he says, "This is passed down in my family's for generations. Hundreds of years, I'm told. I'd given it to Cashel. I took it from him when he died. It won't be passed down again." And he almost shakingly holds it out to you.
She takes it very gently, like it's made of glass. I have an idea. It may be incredibly stupid. But if we can go into the office and find some chalk, perhaps. But I do want to preface, at least 95% of my seances were for fun. And it was an act. Sometimes, if I am being generous, I felt a bit of a pull, or a tug, or a push about information. But the only real concrete thing that ever happened was with Waleed. So I cannot guarantee anything will happen, but we can certainly try.
Yeah, I would like that, but do you think we should look around first?
Yes.
Perhaps we should do that before we waste time on my silly needs.
Your needs are never silly, Diarmuid.
Oh, yeah, well, tell that to the army. All right.
The two of you
I'm
are
gonna go.
standing- Two of you are standing near the golf course, in between there and this clubhouse. The sun has started to dip behind one of the hills nearby. It's getting colder. It's December 25th, after all. It is quite cold and up north in Scotland. But as your faces are stung and red from the wind and from the tears, Lorelei, you stand holding this little wooden bear. And Diarmuid, you head off in the direction of the clubhouse. Heading back towards the front door or the back door where you had originally come in?
I think, Lorelei, if Diarmuid looked at you, you want to go to the ballroom, you said.
Yes.
All right, then we should probably go through the front door then.
Sure. Using the ring of keys that you've been given by the foreman, you let yourself in for the first time into the main entrance of the golf club. And you're standing in this good-looking foyer hallway. It's well decorated. Gathered around you, there are obviously decorations and renovations that have already been done, but then there are others that where you'll see like supplies head off to one side. You'll see like buckets of plaster or things, some things, an abandoned toolbox, things of that nature sitting on the bare floor. You see a stairwell off to your left side as you walk in. Lorelei, you'll recognize that as a stairwell that you came down, and directly ahead towards you, you see down a long hallway. You would remember, Lorelei, that at the end of this long hallway was seemingly the what would eventually become the golf shop. At the end of this long hallway. But you're standing there almost expectantly in this entrance of this building. And it's quiet. There isn't a sound that you can hear besides the occasional gust of wind outside. Lorelei, do you look at the windows on the stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty tense and she's expecting the shoe to drop at any second, but yeah, she goes to look.
You look, and where you had previously seen the windows seemingly alternating day, night, even though it was clearly night outside. Here, every window you look out is the same view. It's twilight. It's dusk outside. That whatever strange effect that seemed to have at this moment seems gone.
She turns to look down at Diarmuid. Whatever I saw, I think, must have been tied to the machine being on, and I'll tell you now, I am having a concern that I can't put into words because I'm not a scientist. I don't understand, but I'm concerned that the machine being on for 2 months, what could that do to reality? I mean, would some fabric of our existence or some thing, some wave on the material plane here start to dissolve? Is the veil thin here? I don't know. And I'm getting more concerned the more I think about it.
And as you make your way, you heading upstairs towards the office, is that's where this is going?
Yeah, and I want to see the ballroom as well.
Certainly. Slowly, the two of you make a slow sort of odd tour as you show Diarmuid through these different locations that you had glimpsed in a panic and in a strange, obviously like terrified as anything around you seems dangerous at that time. You make your way up the stairs and into this ballroom, parquet wooden floor, beautifully done. Diarmuid, you're seeing this for the first time on the second floor. Scattered everywhere across the floor as if it had all but just been picked up and dropped. You see paint cans, toolboxes, tables, chairs, everything sitting as if it had just been tossed up in the air like a graduation cap and fallen haphazardly on the floor, scattered everywhere throughout this. And that is the continued energy that you feel as you continue to make your way past. It is as if the power, the energy powering this phenomena seems for now to have been either greatly lessened or shut off entirely. So the phenomena that have been happening around the clubhouse at this moment seem to have largely stopped, as far as you can tell. The most broad, obvious examples of them are no longer occurring.
This is a relief. Honestly. Nothing that I saw that was out of place is still that way, so I think turning the machine off maybe set this place right. For now.
Diarmuid, you walk past and heading towards the office, yes? You again are continuing to see this nicely adorned clubhouse. You walk past a library, a meeting room. You're real lucky you didn't walk into that room, Rachel.
Why?
No reason.
Why?
If you do poke your head into this side library that you hadn't looked in previously, it seems to be a nicely adorned meeting room with bookshelves. However, as you do open the door, strangely, a chair like almost falls out towards you.
Oh.
Like it'd been leaning against the door in a strange way.
Ooh, I don't like that.
What you do notice, it's like trying to piece together puzzles of something you don't quite have, is that all of the books on one side of the wall, all of the books that would have normally been in the bookshelves, are thrown across the floor, across the room, to the other side of the room. You get the sense, without knowing everything, that again, similar to the ballroom, because you saw that, there was another thing happening here that seems to now have been stopped.
Huh. Well, there goes my theory.
What was that?
Well, I had thought that the ball of floating objects in the ballroom was because it was directly above the machine, but I don't know if this room is as well. And if this also had the same phenomenon, then my theory is bunk.
Keep walking. You walk past the bar area with the sliding double wooden doors, beautifully adorned. It's not stocked, unfortunately. But you head into this office and storage room with a couple desks, and some chairs that are covered with drop cloths.
Is there a safe in the room?
There is not.
Right.
However, there is, and Lorelei, I'm sure will remember to point you to the fact that there is a locked drawer in one of the desks that she had clocked prior.
All that I remember seeing was papers with the stationery, basically, for the club, but one locked drawer I could not get into. Would you like to shimmy that open?
Oh, easy. And before she even says that, he's already pulled out his lockpick set
Fantastic.
and is going to the drawer to unlock it.
I also want to look for some chalk.
Okay.
Because there had been in the room that I...
You don't see any in this room, but you know that literally the next door past this room is that original room with the chalkboard.
Yeah, she's going to run in, grab chalk, and run back
You
out.
run into the chalkboard and you see all those arrows are still there. Again, it's like the horrifying trip down memory lane as dozens and dozens and dozens of arrows all pointing down are scrawled onto this chalkboard. But you were able to run into there and quickly enough grab a small piece of chalk.
I'm going to have to ask Jerome how that works.
I rolled a 34 under 61.
Great.
Nice.
But I'm going to spend 4 luck points to make it a hard success.
Hard success. With a hard success, you're easily enough able to... It's the long, like, top drawer under the main part of the desk that is the locked one that you're able to quickly and deftly use your lockpicking skills in order to open. And you find within it a couple things. You find the blueprints, another version of the blueprints that Nairn gave you. You also find, however, an older set of blueprints from the original opening of the golf club.
Put them on the table.
About 20 years prior. And you find them, and it's largely everything seems almost entirely the same. These were done by an architect named by the name of Alistair Mackenzie. They're dated 1903, Thistledown Golf Club. And your eyes very quickly go back to the basement where you spotted that anomaly, that abnormality that'll sort of gave you the clue as to where to head. And sure enough, there is the full normal sized basement in the original plan of the club, with a storage building in the top right corner and a coal pit above the furnace boiler room. So, yeah.
There's nothing drawn
Sean.
outside the house?
Drawn outside? No.
Yeah, shoot.
And there's no, Diarmuid's looking for incriminating evidence, fraudulent, anything of value that might tip him off.
You also find 2 legal letters. Not from Kirschbaum, from some local Dundee lawyers.
Okay.
And they're just legal letters. You see a liquor license, something about the western boundary of the golf course versus the far neighbor side. You can't seem to find anything in this moment that seems to allude to, in terms of fraud. No.
Okay. Well, at least, unless he's better at hiding it than I thought, at least he seems like he's on the up and up here.
I was kind of hoping that these older blueprints would have some explanation for these invisible walls our doctor ran into. But it doesn't show the outside of the house at all, so...
I'll try an occult roll if you like.
An occult roll! Yay! I can do that.
Knowing what you know at this point.
That's a 25 under 45. Not a hard... Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to use 3 luck points to make that hard success.
I love.
I
got players who are addicted to hard successes. I love it.
I got 83 over 25. So
got it.
Clue.
I got it. I'm useful.
Lorelei, as you're thinking about these walls and thinking about these different projections and thinking about what you've been told, what you've heard lackeys say, what you know of what seemingly seemed to be the issue with the machine, your mind goes back to the visual that you had for those brief few moments when you were there in the cellar, the ethereal cellar, and how there would seem to be walls, the walls that are here on the material plane are not fully there in the ethereal, and how there would be the inconsistencies of how things would be slightly different, and you can maybe start to discern that there are differences in the structures or things in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Some things remain the same, but some things, it's like like they're on a dissolve in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And like you are, for a while, at least while the machine seemed to be turned on, definitely, the two planes were starting to merge into one. So
She'll regurgitate all of that in the best way that she can to Diarmuid.
So you're saying they would merge? They were merging into one.
Yes. What I think, it's like you have two transparent images put over each other and they match up completely, but slowly one of them starts to slip away, but it is beginning to affect the other one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like a tether, kind of.
Yes. And it was pulling the other dimension into ours. They were converging, but
sounds like gravity. Sounds like a binary star gravity situation.
Sure. I don't know anything about stars, so yes, I believe you.
Well, so I'm going to ask you again.
Yes.
And if the answer's still the same, it's fine. But should we blow it up?
No.
Oh,
No, because and the more that we find out, the more that I'm afraid that now that the worlds have sort of collided and started to combine, if we explode that machine, we don't know what could happen. It might just accelerate the combination of the worlds. It might rip a hole into the other dimension and those creatures could come flooding out.
But you're saying that all the stuff that was wrong is stopped?
Yes. But if you explode the machine, whatever energy is in the machine might explode as well. Do you know what I mean? Do you see my fear?
Yeah, now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
An explosion on this side and that side, and we don't know how explosions work on that side because we don't know the physics of that side.
Yes.
Understood.
And
Now
with the way that things have happened
Right.
here, with the way that they have sort of started to spread, whatever veil is between us and this other dimension might be thin and easier to rip with an explosion or something. It's just a concern.
No, yeah, it's a smart one.
I don't want to wake up with, those things in the yard.
That was my whole impetus for exploding the thing, but yeah. All right, well, it looks like, at least from what I can tell in here, Macmillan's on the up and up, so I think I've got enough information now that I can reliably extend some information to my superior. We're going to have to figure out a way to explain this to people so they don't start going, oh, what's down there? And let's go look at the machine.
Yes, I think we'll need Jerome for that. I think we'll need Jerome's input on how we can potentially take the machine apart to avoid any damage to... I'm going to keep calling it the Veil because that's the only thing I can think of.
Sure. Fine.
Any damage to the Veil. So until then, we booby trap it. However, and she goes around the desk and she sits down in the chair and then she wipes everything off the top of the desk. I'm assuming it's a desk that has one of those leather pads on top of it.
Sure.
Why not? She puts the chalk on top and then she puts the bear on top.
Oh.
Do you want to do this now? Well, we have
I
privacy.
guess, I guess it's private here, and the veil is thin, as you said, so I suppose.
Okay, go get another chair, and then she takes the chalk and she starts drawing a Ouija board onto the leather in the chalk.
He'll go into the bar, look for a chair, and also look for some whiskey.
You do find plenty of chairs. Unfortunately, the bar is not stocked.
Better sober.
Yeah.
Well, I still have the other one I have, so.
That's true, you do!
He comes up, well, I guess I'm going to have to drink this good stuff.
Can I have just a...
Oh, I was going to give you more than just a look, because you told me the last time you were wasted, so...
Yes, I would love just
All right.
a little snifter of it.
Nope, you're going to have more than that, so we're going to drink the rest of this, you and me, right now.
Okay.
And
Fantastic.
yeah, we
What
go
could
about
possibly go wrong?
we go about getting proper
Schmammered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You go through the drawing of this Ouija board, and you have this small effigy of this small carved wooden bear. The two of you, I think, probably have a moment or two of laughing at yourselves at this kind of ridiculousness of what you're doing, but also being reminded occasionally too of the emotion behind it. It takes time. Lorelei, roll a power roll.
Okay. You know what? My power is actually decent. I rolled really poorly on everything else, but my power is actually okay. Yeah, it is. It's a 38 under 60.
38 under 60.
I accept.
Okay, great.
You know what? Wait. No, I'm gonna spend 8 points of luck, make it a hard success. With something like this, I want to be as on the dot as I can.
Sure. With a hard success, the two of you, the long day that you've had, the dealing with matters of life and death and joy and pain and grief, the amount of tears and emotion that you've shed for each other and for your friends, and in the case of this, Diarmuid, what do you ask for when it comes to that time when Lorelei is ready?
I think he asks her, how do I go on? Not broken.
Lorelei, you're using the planchette.
Of course.
You're holding this familiar piece on top of this makeshift Ouija that you've written out, waiting. It's dark outside. You're looking in the eyes of this man, this enigma of a man. But you've heard him say that he's a man of science, that he doesn't believe in God. You've watched him save Eden from themselves. But in this moment, with your hands on this planchette, you don't feel a thing. What do you do?
Lorelei is going to take a very long moment and just staring at the bear. She's going to let herself disassociate just a little bit, just allow it to happen when she feels it happen, because she's overwhelmed with grief and stress and fear, and she feels a pull from within herself, not a supernatural one, and she begins to move the planchette herself, and she just spells out Live, and then she takes her hands off the planchette and she looks up at Diarmuid.
Morgan.
Yes, sir.
In that moment, as she is doing her thing, I mean, she's warned him that she's a bit of a faker.
Do you want to try a psychology roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a psychology roll.
Not my highest stat, but I got a little bit. Nope. 65 over 10.
You watch As Lorelei, her hands start to move in a way that's almost feeling like hypnotic. You're unsure, but then they stop, one after another, on 4 letters. Live. And she's looking at you as she pulls her hands away, and you look at her. And it's hard to read.
Diarmuid just stares at you long and hard. Thank you for that. Then he'll grab the bear.
I'm going to move us past this. You're going to try to set up the booby trap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll me, Diarmuid.
Mm-hmm.
I
Firearms?
was gonna say,
No,
why
man.
isn't there like a booby trap?
Yeah, and what do you think?
Well, I would say like
electrical.
electrical repair, right?
Are
Electrical
you
repair.
setting up?
What?
What are you trying? Are you how are you trying? How are you going to try?
So
to do this,
okay,
bud?
so yeah, for sure. So if I remember the map correctly,
Yes.
in the basement there's a storage.
Yep.
In that storage there was fertilizer.
Yes, there was.
Okay. In the kitchen,
Uh-huh.
is there a pot?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then in the storage room, is there like lye or ammonia or some sort of cleaning agent? Or is that in the
Absolutely.
kitchen?
Easily done. Yep.
So then I have the basic combinations that Ron seems to know just because of my knowledge of science. I have the basic elements of a fairly large, depending on how much ammonia and fertilizer I use and how big the pot is and how secure and closed I can keep it. It's a pretty big explosion if I want. So,
Kids, if you're watching this,
Don't do this at home.
We are
Clearly.
experts.
Don't do any of this that we have been doing and role playing
Please,
at
no.
home.
No.
Don't smoke. Don't drink and drive. Don't do any of this.
Any of
I
it.
think that was
Drink and
probably
planchette.
pretty close
Don't.
at the start. So yeah, I think what he'll do is he won't take too big of a pot. He'll just take a smaller one because he wants this to be more personnel mind than house
Sure.
leveling.
Sure.
So I will also take some of the sort of dilapidated wires and
Yeah,
use all that
there
together
is
to-
a box of
Mhm.
like electrical equipment that you saw underneath.
and then I'll take a battery out of the flashlight.
Okay.
Uh, and then with the springs that are left over in the door that was sort of booby trapped, I'll try to sort of set it up so that when that thing is opened.
There is a demolitions roll.
Oh yeah, great.
If there
I don't
is,
have anything in
you don't
demolition.
have anything. That's then
No.
I mean, pitch me another thing.
Demolitions? I don't even have that on my.
I'm seeing demolitions on.
Oh,
a
yeah, I
skill
don't-
list.
I
Oh,
don't
maybe
have that
that's
on mine, I
maybe
don't.
that's not on the usual character sheet, but
Oh no!
in the Keeper Handbook there is a demolitions roll, but that's okay.
Oh no!
What do you have? Firearms?
Yeah, I have firearms for
And you
sure.
have
I also
electrical?
have electrical repair. Yep.
Roll
I
me-
also have my intelligence, which is pretty high.
yeah.
And my
roll
education.
roll me. Let's make it an intelligence roll, and I'll just straight up tell you this needs to be a hard success.
Okay.
Can I help at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I want to make sure that I have my rules. Also, roll an intelligence roll for me, but I want to make sure that
Good.
I have my rules for group roles, because group roles in Call of Cthulhu are a little different. So I want to make sure that I'm doing this right.
Okay.
All right, sounds like we're rolling well though, so that's good.
I accept what I got. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
my
me too.
intelligence
I accept it
is
real
an
hard.
80, so like.
Okay. Combined skill rolls. Some situations allow or demand the use of more than one skill. Oh no, that's not what we're doing. We're doing the two of you together. Okay, got it. Okay, so tell me what you rolled, please.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I rolled a 38 under 80, so my hard success would
That's
be
a
40.
hard success for sure. Okay, great. And for you, Diarmuid.
I rolled a 4 under 90.
Oh my god!
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like a really good explosive. Oh no.
Yeah. It is weird being back in this room.
Yeah.
As you do this, what are you booby trapping the machine itself?
So that's a Lorelei. What do you think?
I
The
was
machine or
thinking
the door?
the door.
Right, because I don't want it to explode on the machine. But which
Mhm.
door?
The
There
door
is-
into the room with the machine.
There is only one door into the room with the machine. Yeah.
And I want it to obviously the explosion to point away from the machine
Sure. Towards the door.
towards the door. Right.
There's also a bookcase in here, right?
There is just some like nails dug into walls and some tables, but no bookshelves.
Okay, never mind.
But you are able to do this. The two of you are like the strangest giddy school children
Horrible.
as you finish it, and it takes a couple hours, but you feel very strongly that you have created a very effective booby trap, that if anyone opens that door, I want to make sure I have this correct, if anyone opens that door, they're going to get a very nasty explosive surprise. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, copy that. Anything
And
else?
then,
Yes.
yeah, as we leave, I want to board up the
The
panel,
hidden door.
the hidden door, right?
You're
And
able
try
to
to keep it hidden as more than possible, so then we only know that people who
Sure.
go in would be.
Yeah.
Sure. You're able to do so.
Did we? I want to take the 2 blueprints as well, or at least the old blueprint to make sure that
I'll
we're the only
say you
ones that
have
know.
everything. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Charlotte, you've been several hours have gone by.
Mhm.
Keating has brought food for the group of all of you. You are getting some, occasional questions or anything, but for the most part, they are leaving you alone. It has gotten a bit more quiet throughout the house. Maybe you've even heard Mrs. Grant and the 2 maids leaving for the evening to go be with their families for Christmas or anything like that. But it has gotten quite quiet in the house. What else have you been doing?
So I think that when things kind of settled down and everyone was patients or taken care of, Mr. McMillan is also a patient in Charlotte's mind.
Yeah.
So I think once Jerome is probably sleeping like a normal sleep and not I am in a ethereal realm sleep.
Yes.
I feel like that one is more restful and one is not.
Okay.
I'd like to go see Arthur.
Okay. It's gotten a bit late. It is fully dark outside. But yeah, you've had this time to yourself and you feel as if you've done a good doctorly job. As you mount the steps towards the 3rd floor.
Mhm.
And you find the very obvious door, what is to the master bedroom. And behind that, you don't even have to roll a listen roll. You probably hear a fair amount. You hear some chatter, nothing too loud or anything like that. But you do hear what you could discern to be Crystal's voice, and possibly a quieter voice being Arthur's.
I'd like to gently knock the door.
Knock on the door.
Mhm.
After a moment, Crystal opens the door. Oh, Doctor. Hello.
Hello, Crystal, Miss McMillan. May I speak to Arthur? I wanted to make sure that you guys had your privacy. I'm sure it was a really, important reunion, and I didn't want to interrupt. But I really must check in on him to see how he's doing.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's very kind. Yes. One moment. She closes the door and you'll hear a short exchange. And then she says, all right, please come in. And she lets you into the master bedroom. And you see he's propped up in bed with sort of a tray. He's got his glasses sort of resting on his head, but resting on his nose, as if he's been trying to kind of put it all together. But he's sitting there in bed with he's obviously eaten something. He seems to be much more comfortable, a bit more well taken care of. Doctor,
Doctor? Yes?
Yes, Dr. Mantis.
I'm lucky
Huh?
I'm lucky to have you.
Oh, goodness. I'm checking in to see how you're doing. And I pull out a little notebook and a little like pen, and I say, are you experiencing any symptoms? Any more than malnourishment, drowsiness?
I think I'm... What are they called? Sometimes I feel as if, like, I see tracers or things in my eyes.
I see.
Just... I don't know if that's normal. I'm... Nausea.
Nausea? Mm-hmm.
And he'll even just... Again, you get the sense of this is a powerful man reduced to an almost childlike state.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I threw up.
Okay.
Shortly after I tried to eat something, and I've been able to keep something down since, but yeah.
Are you eating primarily liquids, or maybe solids are a little much for your system right now? Like rice soup, chicken rice soup might be...
I'm well taken care of, thank you.
Good.
Doctor, I'm in your debt.
Oh, I would like to, I kind of pull up a chair, and I'm sitting next to his bedside now. When he says that, no, listen, you have something very important here. You have a wife who loves you. You have family who loves you. I'm happy that we found you. I'm very happy, and I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna be, I don't know where you were, but I also fell into that place.
You saw it too.
Yes. And
roll a psychology roll.
Yeah. That is a regular success. I rolled a 40 under 50.
Nice. You see across his face, he's being very measured with his speech. He's being very selective, and you get the sense in this moment that you see a wash of relief come over it as he sees that you share this connection, because you can tell that he's someone who doesn't trust his own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not something that he is used to. But he nods, and he'll reach out and grasp your hand softly for a moment, and pull away.
Arthur, cards on the table. All of us, myself included, we were selected to find you.
By my friend, Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Benny Kirschbaum, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a very good friend, because we were selected because all of us have experienced what I have gathered as things of the extraordinary nature.
That's one way of putting it.
Now, I have experienced different types of phenomena that I can't explain to others, and believe me, when I've tried, the more truth you tell, the more people believe you're crazy.
You see him look over your shoulder to Crystal, who's still in the room. Yeah. I haunted my own house like a ghost for weeks. Terrified my wife. I couldn't think of what else to do. I couldn't accept the fact that it would all end in such a ridiculous way.
You love your wife very much.
I have no illusion that I understood what happened to me. But yes, I am also... I'm not exactly feeling the need to go running and singing it out at the rooftops.
That's reassuring to hear, not just because I want you to be safe and I want you to keep what you have. I'm sorry, that sounds...
You're afraid that if I started telling my story to everyone who asked, they'd put me away.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before.
I'm afraid of that too.
And it's interesting. Prior to this case, I am somebody who likes my solitude. I like to be alone. I have not established a romantic relationship of any nature really previously. I almost think that it's not for me. I don't understand it. It seems hard. But everyone around me has things that keep them here. You have Crystal. You came to her. You were in the ethereal plane, I guess. And you came to her. You came to her. You found her from that house. You must have crossed such a long way. And you must have seen such horrible things along that way, because I remember looking at the sky in that place.
He'll put his hand on you to stop you.
Okay. So, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, in a way that is uniquely me, so I'm learning, is that you can trust me with this. I don't know those men in there, but I also know, based on what I've gleaned, that whatever they did was an accident. They were meddling with things they shouldn't, and they should not be able to continue to meddle with those things unless it have dire consequences, I'm sure. But
I don't want anyone else to be hurt in the way that we were hurt.
And I also, and I say this not to alarm you, I want... my friends say I'm a realist, and sometimes to my detriment. Sometimes I say things that make people uncomfortable, and so I'm saying this not to make you uncomfortable, but to... Oh boy. I don't know what the repercussions of any of this is. I don't know what the lasting effects are of me, of you, of Jerome, of he's still asleep in there. He's still gone. He hasn't come back to his body yet. And I don't know what the effects of that are, and I don't know if us coming back means that we are now conduit to that place. I don't know what any of this means. And so it's so important that we all stay together and we stay safe.
Dr. Mantis, you can count on me. And
Count on me too.
no matter how things shake out going forward, I'm going to make sure that someone keeps an eye on those two.
Yes. In particular, if Donald comes to, Donald's the other scientist, we need to make extra sure we keep an eye on him.
You think?
I don't know. I don't know anything. All I know is I have seen the hubris of man, and I've seen the carnage it can bring. But
I know what you mean.
But you, my friend, and I put my hand on his hand, you have to rest up.
Thank you.
Regain your strength. We'll talk about next steps. The police will likely have
They will likely be here in the morning.
Right, and so we have to...
I'm warning you now, they are intolerable.
Oh, dealing with intolerable men is something I'm actually used to working in the medical profession. So don't you worry. But we have to be consistent in what we are saying. And so I have told Jerome this, and I have told Diarmuid this. I am telling you this. That there was likely a gas leak that resulted in you being locked in a room, unable to, passed out, unable to get out, and you were found by my team and I.
And he gives a long consideration to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he nods. There will probably need to be some more specifics, details, things of that nature, but
Sure.
something like that will probably work fine.
That makes sense.
That machine cannot fall into anyone else's hands.
I agree. It must be dismantled.
Yeah. But yes, tell your team I would love to speak to you all in the morning.
Absolutely. Get some rest. Make sure that you are hydrated. I see you have water there. That's great. She it's very doctorally now on her exit.
And Crystal will come up and she's like, I've been nursing him as best I can. Thank you.
Great. B12, vitamin D.
It's shortly after this, as you exit and make your way back down, that you see the sight of Diarmuid and Lorelei entering back into the house, seeming a bit, I don't know. They have a mischievous look about them. Let's say that. It is now fully dark outside. Yes. Oh, sorry, Ron, you're muted.
I said we have returned.
Oh, thank you for gracing us with your presence. My goodness.
We have a secret to tell you.
Come here.
Yes, okay, I'm coming. Hello.
And he'll grab your shoulder.
Oh, strong
bring
man.
You close.
And they smell of whiskey.
Oh my God.
We've had a little tipple.
There's a booby trap.
Who's booby? Hey, okay.
We built a bomb.
Excuse me, what do you mean? What do you mean?
If anyone... Right, yeah, you gotta keep it down. If anyone... If anyone goes in, opens the door to the machine, they're gonna have their kidneys go through their spine.
Oh
my God!
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, what?
No. So here's the thing. Why? Why did you do that?
Okay, he wanted to explode the machine, and I told him
explode it. We just have to dismantle it.
That was my
But
point.
exploding it is the fastest way,
Except I told him,
and
we
most
don't-
assuredly permanent.
No, we can't dismantle it because it will be exploded.
exactly.
Is that?
No, my fear was that if we explode the machine itself, that it would cut some hole into the dimensions, and then creatures would be coming out, and then we would wake up with these gigantic grey alien mantises eating our faces, and I don't want that to happen. So we're not going to explode the machine.
Oh my god.
We compromise. We compromise.
Just booby trapped it. Okay.
Very good one.
Great.
We made a really bomb. I'm a little afraid of us now.
So,
We did really good.
great. So, I didn't know that we knew how to make bombs. We're gonna.
I was in the army.
I'm gonna get you both to bed. We will talk about all of this tomorrow. I know. Are you hungry?
Yes.
You want a snack?
I want a bread pudding.
We'll get. Let's find eating and see if we can get you a bread.
Doesn't a bread pudding
We need to
sound
get
so
you carb and water.
I don't want water.
You
I don't
gotta
want
You
tell.
need to drink water. You're gonna thank me tomorrow.
I don't need water.
Yes, I
No.
think you do. I think you
No.
need water.
No, I don't think I need
Yes,
water.
but don't worry. It'll be fun water. We can put
I
bubbles in
do.
it. It'll be great.
I would love bubbly. Oh, if there's some champagne because it's Christmas Day.
So we're not doing champagne. I'm gonna escort them into the kitchen.
Yeah. Kitchen is dark. It's late.
and-
Mrs. Grant has gone home.
I am going to whip them up what is Charlotte's anti-hangover special. I am
Love
making
this.
eggs. I am making bacon. I am making biscuits. And I'm cutting up fruit to put in a water so it's fun water.
Fun water.
Everyone can drink it and not be
Fun,
upset.
fruity water. You have this chaotic, oddly heartwarming, late night improvised family dinner in a dark, empty kitchen.
Yeah.
And Eden comes down to join at some point. And the four of you who've only known each other a few days treat yourselves to just laughter and food and having yourselves the closest thing to a family Christmas that the four of you can have right now. And
Does that make us the drunk aunt and uncle?
with the drunk anything, I mean, really, I think all roles are open.
We gotta tell Keating.
Drunk
Gotta
cousin.
gotta tell Keating that nobody can go in the basement.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Because of the bomb.
Booby trap.
Oh,
Because of the booby trap.
Right.
we're gonna talk about this tomorrow
Okay.
when everyone's feeling better and talk about how we can dismantle it with the help of Jerome up there.
Charlotte, did you know
Yes, Diarmuid.
that
Yeah.
the key to life
Oh boy. What are you gonna say?
is to live?
Yeah.
It is.
Maria told me that.
She sure did.
She did.
Maria?
She told me that. She told me that.
Good.
Mhm.
That's good. Maria sounds like a wonderful woman.
She was.
Oh.
And you all make your ways to bed. Charlotte, where do you sleep?
Oh boy, I gave my room up. I think
Lorelei would hold her door open. If she knew that you didn't have a place to stay, she
Oh.
would be like, my bed is very big, and I sleep like a rock.
okay.
If you would like. I took this because I was never very fun at sleepovers. But I think you would be great fun to be at a sleepover with. So if you would like to have a sleepover.
This is exceptionally kind, and my room is occupied. So yes, sure. Let's sleep over.
I didn't know rocks slept.
Diarmuid, you fall into your bed. And Charlotte and Lorelei, you make do with this one bed together and sort of lying like schoolgirls in this beautiful bedroom in this Scottish manor house as the two of you wonder about how all of this could have come to pass.
And I'm sure Lorelei falls asleep a little bit faster.
Yeah. And she sleeps like
Out.
a little tiny shrimp. She just curls up into a corner of the bed. So she only takes up like 1/4
That's
of it.
so funny. I love this Lorelei lore that you shrimp
It's
when you sleep.
incredible. Lorelei lore.
Just
Yep.
teeny tiny.
And Charlotte's sleep finally does come to you after several unsuccessful attempts.
Yeah.
Your mind feels bruised from the journey you took and the revelations you've made over the last few days. And as you sleep in this bed, comfortable and warm next to this new friend in this beautiful house, a dream comes to you.
Mhm.
A pleasant one,
Oh.
you think. A memory of a visit to the New York Aquarium. You'd come here years earlier when you first arrived in New York City. Your mind reeling at the exhibits of life, of fish and flora from beneath the sea, so beautifully displayed behind panes of glass. But this time, there are no excited children knocking on the glass exhibits or bustling tour groups, no chaotic sounds of family or really any sounds at all. It's empty. Like you've come here after dark and there's not a soul around.
Mm.
And it's terrific. What a fantasy. The museum, the aquarium after hours. What a better way to bask in the wonder of science and the mysteries the world has to offer. You see giant groupers and tuna, beautiful coral reef displays and fish so brightly colored you'd think they'd come out of a child's coloring book. You move past all these displays, taking them in and enjoying this solitude. And you move into a darker exhibit area, where there is a floor-to-ceiling glass viewing wall, an enormous tank. But it's dark, like an exhibit that hasn't come in yet.
Mm.
All you can see beyond the glass is the lapping water, the color of midnight. And as you stand there, trying to see if there's anything to see, there's a pop. As a single spotlight comes on, illuminating the water almost like a stage show. And when you look up, your eyes adjusting inside the dark tank, there are no beautiful displays of rock or coral, no luminescent fish or sea anemones. There's only the water and a man. Floating peacefully, fully submerged in the middle of the tank is the clothed, familiar form of Dr. Donald Gilmore. Surrounded by the dark water, his brown hair floating around him like an odd halo of sorts. His head hanging low, drifting slowly back and forth until it snaps up, and his eyes open in a flash, finding you. He looks confused, lost. You can see he tries to speak, but only bubbles emerge. You can't hear or make out anything. And then the water in this massive tank begins to churn and roil around him like a tremor had shaken the tank, his body bobbing up and down, but still sort of hanging there, equidistant from the bottom and the surface. And then with a jolt, his arms and legs shoot out in all directions, like he's tied to invisible ropes. The bubbles coming from his mouth quicken and intensify as his face contorts, and you can tell he's in pain and confused and wondering what is happening to him. The water around him starts to shimmer in a familiar way, Small luminous orbs appearing around him in all directions. His head is thrashing from side to side as he looks for any way out or any help. He's screaming towards you, but you can't hear a thing. The lights brighten even further until it's almost so hard to see, but you can tell he's in agony. And the last thing you see before you wake are his arms and his legs, his torso being pulled, stretched in a hideously unnatural way. And you wake. And you almost smack Lorelei, not even intending, as you sit up in bed. Gasping for air. In this comfortable room inside Crowwood Hall.
To save him.
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oof.
Wow. Wow. Sometimes I hate doing it to you, but not every time.
Love it.
No, it's great.
Oh my goodness, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you to the three of you. Thank you to Lexi who couldn't be here tonight. She's going to be sorry she missed out on some amazing stuff. We hope her travels are safe. And some booby traps. You know.
We have to unbooby the booby trap.
I think as many times as we can say the words booby trap, we become the winners. I mean,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think
I like
we
to call
win
them
every
the
time.
ta-ta traps.
the ta-ta traps.
Ta-ta trap.
Incredible.
Ta-ta traps. Because you're saying ta-ta.
Yes, I'm so impressed with you all. I love you guys. Thank you so much. At the end of every episode, we like to read off the names of certain patrons, certain our higher level patrons, Team Force of Light and Team Force of Shadow, and styles of their suggestions. Does everybody have their lists in front of them? Because I've got some fun ones tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. Let's see. This is quite appropriate. We're going to start with Team Force of Light, okay? Team Force of Light, with a suggestion from Idaho Judd, explaining a dream to your psychiatrist.
So I'm floating in a festive life preserver
Okay.
Mhm.
in the middle of the Caribbean. An angel on one side of my shoulder, a devil's son on the other.
And I'm sorry, was this the before or after the advertisement for City Racing Girl Cola was predominant in your dream?
It definitely came afterward.
And City Racing Girl Cola was your father's favorite cola, is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, we're dual therapying.
Yes,
you.
I'm getting my hours in.
That's correct. No, you're doing wonderfully.
I'm new.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense since you're doing this very weird couples counseling thing for us.
We're a couple, and we are couples counseling another
Yes,
couple. That's
thank you,
correct.
darling.
You know,
thank
we
you, darling,
found
for letting
you.
me be here.
Wow, we found you through the Ghostbusters Quick Response Unit.
That's right,
And they
it's
gave
wonderful.
you a really good score.
Thank you. No, we get a lot of recommendations through there. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Back
sorry.
to your
Yeah,
dream.
Yes, back
Go
to
ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. You're unbearably loquacious. It's fine.
It's true. It's true. And we've been called that before.
So, City Racing Girl Cola, and then right after that, the Dungeon Speed Run Whiskey.
Do you think that's a metaphor for your need for more for Fenderil in your relationship?
Oh, very good one.
No, I think it's just that he likes whiskey.
Oh yes, okay. I think so.
But
And cola.
sweetheart, you have not brought up the fact that you have been having that reoccurring dream where you're in a car and you are going over the cliff, and right at the last second you look over and your passenger seat and Breba is sitting there. And I think that's a
Just
really
surrounded by
important dream to-
just jewels, just a bunch of jewels surrounding Breba. And I'm
gonna recommend a really wonderful book to you both that I think will be helpful to you to read as a couple, which
Okay.
is it's this one here. We wrote it together. My
Yes, we
partner and
did.
I,
Co-wrote
but
it.
it's called The 2O Masks We Wear. And I think this is really going to be able to be very helpful to the two of you, because really, if we take off our 2O masks,
Take it off. Take off the 2O mask.
then we can actually see each other as the people that we are, and we can learn to love and communicate deeper, and perhaps even share our 2O masks.
That was the worst dream.
That was a horrible dream. I never want to see those doctors again.
Plot twist!
I feel like we really did it there. I feel like we really therapized.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Nailed it. Nailed it. And Maple was there too.
Maple was there too. Now she is
Therapy
when we do the improv, she
100%. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Team Force of Light. Now, this is also, I find, quite appropriate for Team Force of Shadow, with a suggestion from Critical Nerds, or, Tepartos, which is coming up with new constellations in the night sky.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is it, or is it horrible?
Maybe it's both.
It's really good that we're coming out here on a night when there's no clouds at all, because the last time one of us scheduled this, it was rainy. And now I think I'm nuts, but we should have checked our scheduling from the Lincoln Break Weather Center.
Listen, Cassidy, if you can't be flexible, that it's like you're just like a big black Kakari all energetically.
Okay, Marina.
We just
thank
like
you.
Can we abracadabra the passive aggressive behavior here going on between the group?
Listen,
I'm just trying to
there's
see the
constellation.
waffle here. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
just trying to see
that's
this
what I
waffle
thought.
right here. And you see the big circle with the cross in the
Yeah.
center of it? That's the
Mhm.
fail
Fail
waffle.
waffle.
Right there in the-
Beautiful.
It's kind of
That's
like
a beautiful
Ursa
name.
Major and Minor. It's just waffle and fail waffle.
I mean, I
Carrie, I love
suppose that
your
makes as
name.
much sense as any other constellation where you just go, there's 5 stars in a cluster. Yep, that's a scorpion. Yeah, I mean, sure.
I mean,
Fail
This
waffle.
is
Do it.
our livelihood, Gateway
You're right,
guy.
I'm
We
sorry.
get paid to people on tours. We're doing a tour later.
Okay.
We have to get it
True.
together.
We're reinventing tarot.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
I wouldn't
wow.
go
I,
that
I
far.
forgot we agreed to that.
Let's get back to the matter at hand, okay? So I think we continue to tell people about this ancient Greek constellation up here, the
Potato-like
Idaho
one.
Judd.
Yes, the same.
It's one of my favorites.
There
Are
was
these
Idaho
sisters?
in ancient Greece.
Yes.
And are they
Huh.
sisters?
Where do you think they got the name for Idaho? From the ancient Greek.
I mean, I can't
Idaho.
argue against that. I suppose that's right. Did they like potatoes too? I don't know. I'm sorry. I just every time with Idaho, it's the only thing I think of.
There's more in Idaho than potatoes. Okay?
True. That's
Thompson.
very true. Thank you.
Oh my gosh! I think I just saw an abracadabra just shoot by. Just shoot by. Did you see that? Did you see that?
No.
No?
It's an
No?
airplane.
No, that was an abracadabra. I just saw it.
LAX is
Shoot
literally
by.
right
It was
over
beautiful.
It can be
It
an
was gorgeous.
abracadabra in our hearts.
Okay. But it
Okay.
was a plane from LAX.
You know, I'm just so glad that we somehow get paid to do this
Ew.
job, which
Yeah.
is name weird constellations after things that
what a
make no
strange
sense.
dream.
Oh my god! I just have the worst dream.
It's Maple's dream. She's dreaming dog things.
Thank you, Team Force of Shadow. Oh my goodness. Patreon.com/a dungeon run. That makes our show run. We're so grateful to all you patrons. We have so many new announcements coming. We got some big stuff coming, guys. I know I keep teasing this and I can't wait to tell you it's coming really soon. But WonderCon, as Ron announced at the top of the show, we are going to be WonderCon Friday, March 28th. Come see us live in Anaheim. Ron is running a fantastic game with an amazing cast that we'll be announcing all of the details of that soon. But thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us. And take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Times are rough out here, friends. And I'm so glad that we get to cry together and roll dice together and laugh together, because that's what makes it all great.
And build bombs together.
Catharsis.
And build bombs.
Listen, we have to stop saying that on Twitch. we have
Whoops.
to stop saying
We're
that.
already on an FBI watch list.
Booby trap. Let's say booby trap 5 more
Booby
times.
trap.
Booby trap. Booby traps.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and humankind.
People.
People.
Bebo.
Bye.